I know what you're thinking, and I can almost hear it now. And perhaps the first comment on this video is going to be, no highs, no lows, must be Bose. Let me tell you a little bit about my story with these clowns. Bose is a marketing company, and they were founded as a marketing company. And even though they're out of the loudspeaker business, they still are a marketing company. And if you could open these things up, you would see just the crap materials and the crap workmanship that go into these things. And you'll be astounded at how cheaply made they are. What they did was they made them to look very expensive, and they branded their name to brainwash people into making them think that they were buying high-end products because of all the acoustic science that went into them by Dr. Amar Bose. The doctor is no longer with us. His name lives on. I gotta tell you, I've been to the mountain in Framingham, Massachusetts, and I heard Dr. Bose speak. He was a brilliant man. He was absolutely brilliant. But what was he brilliant at? I would argue he was brilliant at marketing more than anything. And if you remember around when the Acoustimass speakers came out, the bass module with the 2 cube speakers, and how revolutionary people thought that was. There was nothing revolutionary about that at all. It was brilliant marketing. And I remember, because I worked for a company that sold Bose products, and I remember when they took us up to the mountain in Framingham. It's on Route 9 in Framingham, Massachusetts, outside of Boston. And what they did was they set up the AM5s with little shrouds over each cube, and then the bass module hidden behind the system. So what you thought you were getting this big sound out of these 2 little small speakers, and then they took the shrouds off, and naturally everyone, their jaws just dropped. And then they showed us the bass module, which the bass module, a lot of people incorrectly call that a subwoofer. There was nothing subwoofer to them. It was a bass module. So all they did was they pulled the woofers out of each enclosure, gave you something approximating a tweeter and a mid-range in those cube speakers. And because it's non-directional, they sent low frequencies to the bass module. Now, I've got to confess, I was in Savers a couple of days ago. They had a pair of 601s, which I looked at. They were in terrible condition. The laminate was pulling off on them. There was one sheet of laminate where it was fully pulled off, and they were just monstrosities. These are the Series 5 501s. The old 501s I remember as like this walnut cube, and they almost had like a Danish kind of look to them. And they were kind of cool. But I remember they were somewhat controversial because of the 6 ohm impedance and the fussiness with which you place each individual speaker. So, and they're also tagged, like this one is tagged as left, and I'll go to the other side of my system. This guy is tagged as right. But I got the pair for 19 bucks, and 19 bucks is the absolute most I would spend for speakers like these. Don't spend crazy money for anything Bose. I owned a pair of 901s. I gave them to my brother. They were absolute garbage. They didn't image. They didn't soundstage. They just played loud. And I drove them with my Carver M500T. And yeah, you could easily have a keg party with a setup like that. But all they did was play loud. And they were just garbage. So happy to have dumped those off to my brother. I'm not going to do anything different with these guys. All I'm going to do is what I do with any speakers: touch them up, clean them up, and then wire them up. And I think I'm going to use this Onkyo receiver and this Pioneer Elite multi-disc. When I say multi-disc, it only plays a single disc, but it does DVDs and CDs and what is it? SCAD? I think that's what you call them. Which I actually have one of those discs. Maybe I could try that out on this. But I'm going to wire this up optically. Hook the 501s up to this Onkyo. And let's see how it sounds. I'm not kidding. These things sound pretty darn good. I seem to recall people complaining that they weren't that efficient. I think that is what I'm experiencing as well. For 6 ohm speakers, I did think they'd be louder, but they sound very clean, very crisp, and the highs and the lows are pretty darn good. But I'm going to try them out some more, listen to them, and maybe share more about what I think. I love the sound of direct reflecting in the afternoon. It sounds like victory. Apocalypse Now fans will be familiar with that and music we just heard. So I gotta share some more thoughts on these speakers. I would venture to say that the 501s are maybe the best foray into direct reflecting technology that Bose ever made, because these things do what they're supposed to do. They stage beautifully. The separation is insane. There's even a sweet spot in the middle for vocals, and I'm gonna keep on listening this afternoon and through the night. I gotta say, these things really surprise the daylights out of me, and in a good way. I'll show you a little trick for placement. That V right there is supposed to face your wall, and it's supposed to be about 16 inches from the wall. And we have that implementation on both sides. So that is one trick to it. For 19 bucks for the pair, I am pretty darn impressed. Like I said at the beginning of this video, don't pay big money for these things, but if you can find them cheap somewhere at a thrift store, pick them up. You might like them. If you set them up right, they're going to surprise you. They really surprise me, and these do not follow the no highs, no lows, must be Bose mantra. They are nice sounding loudspeakers. Talk to you soon.